the appearance of God on Mount Sinai and the preparation leading up to it's really important that we understand it. God has always been wanting to reveal himself. We realize if we understand the story of salvation history, we were made for relationship with God. We were made for communion with him. And God didn't want to be apart from us. He wanted us to be one with him for communion. We were made for communion with him. That's written into all of creation. This is a gift for you. I want you to be one with me. I want you to enjoy everything that I've given to you because it's a sign of my love for you. But because of sin, that relationship was ruptured, and we can no longer see very clearly God or his impression that's in our nature and in the created world around us. And many people, they worship the creature rather than the creator, right? They get stuck here and they don't ascend to the heights, right? So we see very clearly that's the description of our world. We worship the things we can see. We worship money, sex, power, all of these things, but we don't go deeper to say, why do we like those things? What's so good about those things? There is a God who made them, and he made them as a gift for you. They're to be enjoyed, but in the way that he tells us to enjoy them, right? And so the problem all throughout the Bible is we see very clearly when people misuse God's gifts, whether that be their own bodies, whether that be the creation that they have, the riches, the possessions they have. If they're not using them for the Lord, then it is for naught. We are misunderstanding the purpose. And so God's saying, I'm going to appear to you, Moses. I'm going to appear to all the people so they can see me, but you need to prepare yourselves. And how do they prepare? Sadly, we don't hear that part. How do they prepare? They prepare by washing their garments and then by abstaining from sexual relations for 3 days. Interesting, huh? Right? Why would that be the condition for seeing God's face? The fathers of the church talked about this, right? They recognized for this life only is the marital intimacy. It's a symbol and a sign of the true intimacy in God, but it's only an imperfect human sign. It's for this life only. They said if to see God's face for just an hour required 3 days of abstaining from sexual relations, then heaven they will cease completely, won't they? Right? Because it will no longer be necessary. But you see, the world is trapped in this idea that if you don't engage in marital intimacy, you are going to be unhappy. Isn't that the way we live? You can't tell me not to do that. I'm made this way. I have to do this. Whatever this is, fill in the blank, whether it's abandoning your spouse, whether it's engaging in perverse behaviors. No, that isn't the truth. The truth is you're made for God. And in fact, the celibate vocation is meant to reveal the truth of this matter, that priests and religious and others who have consecrated their celibacy for the Lord are meant to show us they're already living heaven right now. They're living the communion with the Father if they're living it well. Sometimes they don't. So sometimes we don't, right? But it's a recognition that's what the purpose of celibacy is, to show that in heaven there will be no marital relations anymore. They're for this life. That's it. Right? That might be unpopular to some people because, in fact, some other religions, such as Islam, believes that, in fact, heaven is just a bunch of concubines. That's great for the men, not for the ladies so much. Right? Because they worship the creature rather than the creator. It's a false religion. There are many other such false religions that never go to the heights. So to be purified, to be able to see God, we must be pure of heart. Why does Jesus say, blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God? Only the pure of heart can see him. So whether you are married or whether you are single, we must have the gift of chastity. We must have integrated, whole, pure hearts. And how do we do that? By periodic fasting and abstinence. We must. And some people are called to fast and abstain their whole life in this way, right? But this is the truth of the matter, that when they prepared themselves this way, and some of them probably didn't, because you know human nature. Moses tells them, hey, better prepare yourself. And some people are like, yeah, whatever, right? So when God appears in thunder, the whole camp is trembling, like, oh gosh, we should have listened. This is way scarier than I thought. Because the fact is, friends, no matter if you live a perfect, blameless life or not, when you see God face to face, you're going to wish you had done more. I'm going to look at him and I'm going to wish that I did more. I know I waste so much of my time, and when I see him face to face, I'm going to really regret the hours and the days and the years of my life that I wasted on myself. Because when we see purity, when we see love himself, our hearts are just going to break and see how I failed to respond. So let's come back into his presence. Let's ask him for grace. In fact, it's the case, as Isaiah said, gross is the heart of this people. That's why I don't reveal things to them, because they're unwilling to fast. They're unwilling to abstain from their pleasures for even a short period of time. It was really funny. I just saw this thing today, like apparently a senator did a hunger fast for like 8 hours on the Capitol, and they celebrated him at the end. Oh, 8 hours, wow, good gravy. We're considered a hero for not eating maybe once a day? Are you kidding me? Very weird, right? Our world is odd sometimes, right? Like, oh my gosh, how could you deny yourself water for 8 hours? Gosh. We laugh, right? But the fact of the matter is that it's because we know the Master, right? The world lives in darkness. The world lives in darkness and doesn't know the Master. If we know him, then we know he's the model. He's the model. He fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, right? That's something, right? But friends, we can't see the truth because we're so saturated with our pleasures. So Lord's calling us, just as he called the disciples. Why have you speak to them in parables? Because I revealed the mysteries of the kingdom to you. And why did he reveal it to the disciples? Because they were willing to step apart from their life and join him and be exclusively about him for those 3 years. What a great delight that would be to receive that teaching directly from the Lord. But that can be yours too. What's so beautiful, this is not just for the disciples, this is for you. It's why we have perpetual adoration. It's why we have the sacraments of the church, so that you, in your daily life, can sit at the feet of the Master and be fed by him. But only the pure of heart will see that it's valuable. So let's make that commitment today and ask the Holy Spirit to open our hearts so that at his visitation, instead of trembling with fear, we would instead be filled with his love. Come, Holy Spirit.